Ripple and XRP are two terms that are usually used interchangeably, but they actually mean two different things. Ripple, also known as Ripple Labs, is the company that was founded in 2012 by Chris Larsen, Jed McCaleb, and Arthur Brito. Ripple Labs is a for-profit company that tries to solve a really huge global problem, and that is delivering secure, fast, and cheap cross-border payments. SWIFT is a global messaging protocol that allows banks all over the world to communicate with each other and transfer funds from one another. And according to the US Department of Treasury, they process about $5 trillion in transactions every day. And they also account for about half of all international wire transfers. But have you ever tried sending a wire to a friend or to a business partner on the other side of the world? How long did it usually take you? On average, it takes about 1 to 5 business days in the best case scenario to send an international wire transfer, but sometimes it could take even longer. And that is a big problem because who wants to wait for 1 to 5 business days, especially in today's day and age? But that's only part of the problem. The other part of the problem is that oftentimes these international banks don't have a direct line between each other, and sometimes they have to use a bunch of intermediary banks because they need to find this common connection to transfer the message to the beneficiary bank. And when that happens, that involves a lot of fees that are taken by the intermediary banks. And usually it's not a small amount, to say the least. But let's say that you have to make a transfer from Singapore to Colombia. And in Singapore, they use Singaporean dollar. In Colombia, they use Colombian pesos. And oftentimes, the banks in both of these countries don't have accounts denominated either in Colombian pesos or Singaporean dollars. So they have to find some common currency that they can use to transfer funds. And most of the time, it's going to be US dollar. So what happens is now, let's say when you're sending money from Singapore, Singaporean banks takes payment in Singaporean dollars. Then they need to convert it, which means you might lose on conversion because oftentimes they don't offer the best conversion rates. After that, a Singaporean bank transfers this US dollar to a Colombian bank, and that Colombian bank now needs to convert this US dollar into Colombian pesos, and usually again the rates are not the most favorable and you're losing money on two conversions. So overall you lose a lot of money in this whole process of trying to transfer funds from one country to another, and this is where Ripple actually fits in with their product that they offer that is called RippleNet. And RippleNet is powered by the XRP ledger, which is a decentralized public blockchain. That means that Ripple does not control and does not own it, but rather the community can contribute to its development, and Ripple is just one of the contributors. However, RippleNet is not a public service, it's a banking service that is provided by the Ripple Labs company that is a for-profit company. And the banks that are connected to RippleNet are able to send their transactions to each other in a fast and cheap way without any intermediaries. Usually the transaction completion comes to just under 5 seconds, and the RippleNet is able to process 1,500 transactions per second, and compared, let's say, to Bitcoin, the Bitcoin is able to process only 3 transactions per second. And it's also worth mentioning that there are over 100 financial institutions that are already connected to RippleNet from countries such as US, Brazil, and India. And they also have some major clients such as Bank Santander, American Express, and Bank of America. So what is XRP then? XRP is the native coin on the Ripple network that was issued to facilitate transactions on the Ripple blockchain. The total circulating supply is 100 billion XRP, and if you're wondering how this 100 billion of XRP coins were allocated when they were first pre-minted, here's how it went. 20 billion went to the founders, which is Chris Larsen, Jed McCaleb, and Arthur Brito. And then 80% of all the Ripple coins, or 80 billion, went to Ripple, the company. And right now, about 20 billion from that is in the hands of the public like us, and also financial institutions and other companies. And the rest 60 billion is still in the hands of Ripple, the company, out of which 55 billion are currently in the escrow account, and it's being released in the amount of 1 billion every month. XRP powers transaction on the RippleNet and acts as the trading medium because it's an actual asset on the blockchain. All the financial institutions that are part of Ripple network can use XRP as a bridge to bridge different currencies for cross-border payments with all the advantages that I outlined earlier. And on top of that, RippleNet provides anti-money laundering and fraud protection. But participating banks don't have to use the XRP coin as the medium of exchange because they can actually create their own coins or currencies on the XRP network. And oftentimes they're referred to as IOUs or IOU, but the XRP Foundation doesn't actually like that term because they say it's a little bit broader than that. And formally it's called a trust line. And trust line is more like a credit line. Basically, you can send some tokens to somebody and the holder of these tokens is going to be owed something in return by the issuer of these tokens. For example, it can be real assets such as US dollar, Australian dollar, Japanese yen, or it can be even physical items such as cars or maybe bicycles. However, this trust line is based on, well, trust, and the financial institution that accepts these coins or currencies issued by the other party are willing to take that risk that the other party might not fulfill its obligation. Now let's talk about how the network comes to a consensus, because it's been a topic for speculation, with many claiming that the way it works is not actually decentralized. Unlike traditional proof of work or proof of stake consensus mechanism, where you can either earn or lose some coins that you stake, the validator nodes for XRP network does not require any staking. Whenever a validator node is trying to add a transaction to a blockchain, it sends it for approval to what is called unique node list. And unique node list is nothing but a set of selected nodes that this validator chooses to approve this transaction. Ripple, the XRP Foundation, and Coil all publish recommended lists of high quality validators. However, every validator node is free to choose their own UNL, and whenever the validator node sends this transaction, it needs to be approved by 80% of the UNL in the list, and then it gets published. So is it really decentralized? Well, probably, because you're free to choose your UNL, but on the other hand, there is no incentive for node validators to be honest. That's why they can technically conspire with each other and post some transaction that can be malicious and benefit all this validator node. So the question whether you should invest in XRP really comes down to the fact whether all these financial institutions are going to use XRP as the trading medium over trust lines when they are going to send payments to each other, because this is going to create buying pressure for XRP token that is supposed to raise the price. And it's also worth mentioning that XRP is deflationary coin, because with every transaction that happens, all the fees that are being collected are being destroyed, and thus making this coin deflationary, because we're reducing the circulating supply. And that was it for this video. I did my best to try to shrink a lot of information in a short video while also being able to explain everything so you will be able to understand, and I hope I was able to deliver. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up to help YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more stuff like this, and I'll see you all guys in the next one. Bye!